Morgan Stanley estimates that commercial space tourism could generate more than $1 trillion over the next 2 decades. Revenues generated not by governments, but by billionaires who are competing to be the first to dominate the commercial space industry. According to NASA, competition between SpaceX and Blue Origin has helped bring down the cost of reaching low Earth orbit by a factor of 20. However, the contest has drawn criticism and concern among some observers. Earlier in the week, I was fortunate to speak with Nicole Stott, a retired NASA astronaut who had 2 space flights and has spent 104 days living and working in space as a crew member on both the International Space Station and the Space Shuttle. She joined me from St. Petersburg in Florida. Nicole Stott, thank you so much for joining me on Channel's Business Global. I was saying off air, it's an absolute honour and a privilege, especially given the timing. There have been 2 major milestones achieved over the past couple of weeks. Not only have Sir Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos flown to the edge of space, I did read an open letter from Blue Origin, who are putting up, I believe, $2 billion to fund NASA's next Moon Man project. Can you just put into words how extraordinary this feat has been?
First of all, I think that's a wonderful word to use, extraordinary. If you look at the launches of Branson and Bezos suborbital, opening up, I think, a whole new, not just commercial market, business market, but you know, a whole new way for people to see our planet, who and where we are in space together, which is a very positive thing. And then you mentioned Bezos with this offer to NASA for the moon missions. I think more and more we're seeing this very public NASA private partnerships going on that are going to just continue to take us further and further, open up the opportunities in space in all ways. And like I like to think about it through the motto of the International Space Station is that everything we're doing off the Earth is for the Earth. And I look forward to all of those things coming to life through these activities.
Absolutely. A lot of people were a little bit critical about the billionaire space race. Of course, Sir Richard Branson beat Bezos in the open letter last week to NASA. Blue Origin did mention SpaceX, which is obviously funded by the Tesla billionaire boss Elon Musk. But I want to ask your opinion on whether you think mere mortals like us are even ready to descend into space. I know you spent more than 100 days living and working there. I know you've been asked this a million times, but can you try and put it into a few sentences of how that experience was for you?
Well, I'll use the word extraordinary again. I think that you know, as professional astronauts, we spend a lot of time preparing for that spaceflight activity, for the launch, the time living there, you know, returning safely to Earth. It's a pretty extensive process, but we're going there to do the work job as well. I think in the simplest terms, awesome and surreal are the words that come to mind when I think about the actual experience. You know, the physical nature of it, floating, flying, moving in 3 dimensions, you know, what we're learning about our bodies and all of the science that's going on. Again, this idea of the fact that we're off the Earth, for the Earth, everything ultimately about improving life on Earth. I don't know, I just think that, you know, when we use this word mere mortals, the fact that we can send people to space and live and work there successfully, it shows that, you know, that mere word might not be, you know, might not be so important, and that there's a lot to do, I think, with just the desire to go and be there. Hopefully the motivation is greater than just, you know, checking something off the bucket list, but, you know, we're human beings. That kind of thing goes on as well.
Yeah, you've been pretty busy over the past couple of weeks. I've listened to lots of interviews that you have done. You seem to be one of several former astronauts who are celebrating the achievements from Bezos and Sir Richard Branson. But can you understand why some people are critical of their ambitions. There have been talks about colonizing Mars. I think a famous rapper even took to Twitter saying that he's now paid millions of dollars to own a planet. Can you understand why some are a little bit cynical at some of these pretty ambitious plans?
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it, but I also see, I see that side of it. I think the way perhaps that it's presented, could be improved a little bit. I think you've heard me say a couple times now, this idea that us, leaving the planet is not about abandoning the planet. It really and truly is about improving life here. I'd love to see more and more presentation of the kind of work that we're doing in space that is benefiting life on Earth. I will use Bezos as the example. I know a lot of the calm about this was, oh, how fun it was to go to space. We went suborbital, who beat whom. But in reality, if you look at Bezos' motivation, it is much, it's much higher level. It's ultimately about pulling the industrial kinds of things that are causing huge negative impacts to our planet off the Earth to allow Earth to become, I think, for us to see a future on Earth that's as beautiful as it looks from space, right? And, to take some of these things that are really causing such harm off of the planet in a safe way.
Before I let you go, Nicole, I've got to ask you about whether or not you would be willing or prepared to spend up to $28 million to fly aboard Blue Orbit or Sir Richard Branson's spacecraft anytime in the foreseeable future.
Well, the word prepared, absolutely not, because I don't see that being, something that would be possible for me from a financial standpoint. I'd absolutely love to fly, but I will close just by saying I'm thankful to these folks for kind of forging the path, this parallel to what NASA is doing, bringing space exploration to life in a whole new way that will allow us to, to achieve the ultimate benefits of improving life on Earth. So I say thanks to them. And I say thanks to them when I get on the airplane, because we wouldn't be flying on airplanes the way we do without those people from the past making that possible for us.
Absolutely. Whether you're a cynic or not, it's an extraordinary feat and a very lucrative market that these billionaires
eventually,
are likely
yes, I think so.
to be entering. Nicole Stott, former NASA astronaut, founding director for Space for Art. Thank you so much for joining me on Channel's Business Global. Thank you, Nicole.
My pleasure. Thank you.